So in the last class, I was discussing about the Python Software Foundation. So it's a non-profit organization devoted towards Python community. It was launched in the year 2001. The objective is to foster the development of Python. In the year 2005, PSF received Computer World Horizon Award, right? President Guido van Rossum, headquarters Delaware, US, official website python.org. Yes. Python versions, right? Python 1.x, it was released in the year 1989. Python 2.x in the year 2000. 3.x in the year 2008. Latest version of Python, Python 3.12, right? Stable version of Python 3.11, mostly used version, right? Yes. In the last class, I was discussing about the installation of Python. Hardly it takes 2 minutes to install Python. Go to python.org. Just download Python, installing, right? Step by step, I showed you. If you're not didn't attend yesterday session, right? You can see the video will be forwarded, right, to your mail. Yes. And also it will be kept in the chat panel after 10 minutes. The online team will post that yesterday video in the chat. Later, once you got after 1 or 2 days, once that the enrollment process is completed, you will be getting the videos to your Google Drives every day, that day itself, within 2 hours time. The now the session, for example, 8 to 9, 9 o'clock, the session completes. Immediately within 2 hours time, you will be getting the video to your Google Drive. Separate team is working on it for the videos, right? Python execution modes, two modes of execution. Interactive mode. Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact with Python. Advantage to test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. Here we write set of statements within the editors, IDEs, and save it by using .py extension, later submitted to Python. Various editors, Notepad, Edit Plus, VI, and Nano. And various IDs, PyCharm, PyDev, Commodore, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter, and VS Code. Why Python is providing these many IDs? Why not 1 or 2 IDs? Because Python is used for different environments. Different environments are using this different IDs like data science, Jupyter Notebook, Spider, big data using Spider, Jupyter Notebook, and typical web applications creations, PyCharm, VS Code are used. So in this way, different environments, different IDs are preferred. I'll be showing you on multiple IDs how to write the code and how to execute the code in different IDs, right? Yes. Now, developing the first Python application. Developing the first Python application. Within a editor. Developing the first Python application within a editor. Example like Notepad. Open Notepad and type the following. There. Open Notepad and type the following Python statements. Up to now, we didn't discuss anything about Python, right? So just I'll take two values like x as 10, y as 20, and I just want to perform some kind of operations. Print x plus y, print x minus y, print x into y, print x by y. X plus y, x minus y, x into y, x by y. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Just copy this to a separate notepad file. Copy this to a separate notepad file, right? Yes. Control V, yes. File, save. I'm saving it. Just I will create a separate folder for this batch within the Python C. I'm creating a folder, Python 8 a.m. batch. Python 8 a.m. Hmm. Within that, I'm saving it as sample1 dot py. I'm saving it as sample1 dot py. Save it. Yes. Save as sample1 dot py. And now submit this file to Python as. Save as sample1.py and now submit this file to Python as. So just at the bottom, type cmd and go to the command prompt. Just to go to the command prompt. And just to type Python. Don't say enter. If you say enter, it will go to the interactive mode. Within the C. Just to specify the file path. Just to specify the file path, submitting the file to Python. Okay. Within the okay. Within the C drive, Python 8 a.m. batch. Sample1.py. If the file name, which file name present in which folder? So just in the notepad, I written some Python code, right? And I saved it as sample1.py. So which file name present in which folder, present in which drive? The entire path specified to Python. Say enter, right? Now if you say enter, 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. This is your code, right? X value 10, Y is 20. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. You will get this output. You got this output, right? Yes. So write the within the Python, within the notepad, just write the Python code and just save it as .py extension, later submitting to Python. So open notepad and type the following Python code and create a .py file. Yes, and submit to Python. But here, what is your observation? But here, we are writing the code. We are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. We are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. We are writing the code at one place. One place means within the notepad you are writing. Yes. And if you have got any queries, you can unmute yourself and ask your queries, or you can type in the chat, right? Yes. You can see in the chart, they have forwarded the yesterday demo video, right? Yesterday video, right? If anyone, if you have not attended yesterday's class, you can go to the video and that installation, right? The course content is forwarded and also the payment details, everything is you can see in the chart forwarded by the online team. So here we are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. Executing other place within the command prompt. Within the command prompt. But to write and execute, but to write and execute at the same place. But to write and execute at the same place. We have IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment. Integrated Development Learning, and we have IDLE, right? Which comes along with, we have ID, which comes along with Python installation. Using which we can write and execute at the same place. Understand here, right? Here we are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write and execute at the same place.
Is this IDLE and IDEs are different?
Different. I'll show you first out working on IDLE. Later I'll show you how to work on IDE. This is whatever Python, whenever you install Python, you will get along with the Python installation, you will get this IDLE. But IDE separately we will download and we will install, right? The PyCharm, VS Code, Spider, all these things. And later I discuss that. Once we are done with a little bit of technical content, I'll just discuss how to run the code on this IDs.
Okay.
Okay. Now let me show you how to open this IDLE, Integrated Development Learning Environment. So how to open this IDLE and how to execute the code within this. So just to type IDLE within the search, type IDLE. Already you can see in this, you can see IDLE Python 3.12. Click it. You got this Python 3.12.3 opened. This is one way of opening it. Otherwise, another way, go to the start programs, go to the all apps. In that all apps, you can see all the installed apps in your system. Python 3.12, you can see. What is the first thing you see here? IDLE, right? Click it. Python 3.12.3, the IDLE gets open. If you want to work with interactive mode, you can just work with interactive mode. Any valid Python statements you can type and select. But I want to work with the batch mode. Just here you won't see any run option. Here you are not seeing any run option. But whenever you say file, new file, you will see the run option. Means you will write the code here itself, you will execute, you will run here itself. Writing the code here itself and running the code here itself, executing the code here itself. So just take some values, x as 10, y as 20, print x plus y, x minus y. Print x into y and x by y. X plus y, x minus y, x into y and x by y. Save the code. Yes, within the same C drive, Python AM 8am batch. Sample2.py. So just write the code here itself, save the code and execute the code. Run module. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Yes. Again, run module. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Yes, you can write the code, execute the code in this way, right? Yes. Next, entering into the technicals of Python, right? So data types and variables. Data types and variables. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Every organization use case has got data and operations, right? Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. Okay. Observe this, right? Operations. See, any organization, for example, take the example of a bank. Bank has got customers and employees. Customers has got data and operations. Customer data means customer name, account number, address, balance, branch. Customer operations means deposit operation, withdraw operation, transfer operations, right? Yes. Okay. Now just observe this. If you are comparing C or C++ or Java with Python, in other programming, if you want to create a variable x equal to 10, compulsory the data type defining is compulsory, right? The data type defining is compulsory. Y equal to 4.5, compulsory we need to say float y. Z equal to hello, compulsory I need to say string z. But in Python, no need to define this data types. Directly I can say x as 10, y as 4.5, z has hello, right? No need to define this data types in Python. What kind of variable x is means based on this data type defining, you are saying integer. What kind of variable y is means based on this data type defining, you are saying it as float type. But in Python, what kind of variable x is based upon what value you are assigning to it. So if you are assigning integer variable, if you are assigning integer value, integer variable is created dynamically during runtime. So there is a function called type function, type of x. Type of x is what type? Type of x equal to, yes, int type. Why it is integer? There is a function in Python to know the type of a variable. Type of x is what type? Int type. Why integer? Because you have assigned a integer value. Type of y is what type? As you have assigned a float value, float variable is created. And type of z, str, string type. As you have assigned a string value, yes, type of z is string. So to understand more on this data type set, I'll be discussing 4 cases now. Observe. Case 1. X value is 10. Whenever you define x equal to 10, internally one object is going to get created with value 10. It is going to have some address. physical memory location address, right? This you provide to X. X is 10. Okay, 10. This address is given to X. Yes. Three things. Print X. Print X, right. Print X means it goes to this address and prints the content whatever present at that address. Print X means it goes to this address and prints the content whatever present at that address. Prints the content at that address. Prints the content at that address, that is 10. ID of X. There is a function called ID, right? To print the address of X, where exactly it is stored. Prints the address of X. The address of X is 103070. Type of X means what value you are assigning to X. The type of variable is created. Type of X prints the data type of X. Integer type. Printing the content, printing the address, and printing the type. Okay. Print X, ID of X, type of X. Now case 2. X value is 10, Y value is 20. X value is 10, Y value is 20. Here one object with value 10 with some address, the address given to X. Y equal to 20, yes. Now everyone try to answer, right? Yes. Everyone try to answer. Okay, X equal to 10, Y equal to 20. Okay, two objects will be created here. Okay, with some different addresses. Now from here onwards, I want the sessions to be interactive, right? Everyone, you can unmute yourself and try to give your responses, right? Either through voice or you can type in the chat panel, right? Yes. Now try to answer what is print X? Everyone.
10.
10.
Print X is
10.
10. Address of X
10304
3070.
70. Okay.
Type of X, what data type?
Integer.
Integer. Print Y, everyone. Try to answer what is the Y value?
20.
20.
It goes to its address and prints whatever present at that address. Address of Y, yes.
1040.
1040.
104080, right? Type of Y, what type?
Integer
Int.
again.
Yes, integer type, right? Okay, fine. Two different variables x, y with two different values, then two different objects with the two different addresses. Observe this case 3 now. X value is 10, y value is 10, x and y, two variables. Now try to answer everyone. How many objects will be created? How many objects will be created? Yes.
One object. Yeah.
How many objects?
2 is x equal to 10, y equal to, okay, 1.
How many x equal to 1 for y?
Y is also referring the same 10.
So observe carefully here. Only one object will be created. One object only will be created, right? Before creating this object for y, it checks any object with value 10. Any object with value 10 if it is already available. If it is already available, the same address
Referring.
went to y.
Interesting. Our
Yes. So x is 10, y is 10, z is 10. Don't think three objects with value 10 will be created. Don't think three objects with value 10. Only one object, its address is given to x, y, and z. Okay. If the content, okay. If the content is 10, x is 10, y is 10, z is 10, only one object. Don't think three objects will be created. 10, 10, 10, no duplicate objects. But if x value is 10, y is 20, z is 30, how many objects will be created? 10, 20, 30 if the values are. Three
3.
objects. Three objects will be created. Means what is your observation here? What is your observation? If the values are different, multiple objects, if the values are same, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, all values are 10, how many objects? Yes,
Only 1.
only one. But if x1 is 10, x2 20, x3 30, x4 40, x5 50, how many objects? Yes, yes,
5.
five objects, right? So yes, here x, y, and z, they are sharing the same content 10. They are sharing the same content 10. They are sharing the same address. So we can say print x value, print x value, print y value, and print z. Print x, print y, and print z. All the values are 10 only. Print address, address of x, address of, please be in mute.
sorry.
Print address of x, address of y, yes. Address of z. They're going to be the same value, right? Yes, 10309. Yes. Understand here? Means you need to understand internally how many objects are created to know that. Yes, I am printing the addresses. If the addresses are same address values, only one object. If different addresses, they are providing multiple objects. Yes. Observe this case for. Observe this case for, right? Yes. X value is 10, x is 20. In the previous examples, X, Y I have taken. Now I'm taking X and X only. How many objects will be created? Yes. Try to respond. Whether your answers are correct or wrong, everyone try to keep responding, right? Yes.
Two.
It will be only one object, it will be overwritten, right?
Only
One object.
observe carefully here. The values are same or different?
Different values.
Different means
Two objects will be
but two
created.
objects will be created. 104. Two objects will be created with two different addresses. The address will be given to this. But here up to here it's fine. But if I
When
say
you are
print X,
printing,
what is the X value it going to print? 10 or 20 or both? What is your answer?
20.
The latest.
Yeah, it
Lat-
prints latest one. It always prints the, for example, your salary last year 50,000. Your salary this year 80,000. Print salary means what it prints? The latest salary, right? Print
Yep.
X. Address of X, it prints the latest one 104090. Okay, type is integer type. Okay, it is fine. But I want to print this value 10. I want to print a 10. Always, if I say print X, print X, print X, always it is printing 20. But is there any possibility to print this value 10? What happens to this object? What happens? Is there any possibility to print this value?
By calling the address of that
So
value.
observe carefully here. There is a small concept you need to understand. So it's too early to discuss that concept, but I'll just give overview as of now. Later in our course, when we discuss it, I'll discuss in brief about it with multiple examples. Garbage collector. There is a concept called, for explaining the garbage collector, I'll go back to this case 3. Case 3, right? Garbage collector. Observe. The name itself saying, what is that? Garbage collector means, what is garbage? Unwanted,
Trash.
unwanted or waste, right?
Yes.
Here also garbage collector. This garbage collector means removes unused or unreferred objects. Removes unused or unreferred objects. Unused objects or unreferred objects from the memory. From the, what it does? Removes unused or unreferred objects from the memory. Which objects we call as unused or unreferred objects? Observe. Objects whose reference count becomes 0. Whose reference count becomes 0. We call them as unused or unreferred objects. I'll just give with multiple examples how the reference count becomes 0. We call them as unused or unreferred. Then immediately these objects gets removed. Object, otherwise say object whose reference count becomes 0, then immediately that object gets removed from the memory. Then gets removed by garbage collector from the memory automatically. Understand here? Object whose reference count becomes 0, then that object gets removed by the garbage collector from the memory automatically, right? Yes. You need to understand one more. You may ask, what is reference count and how it becomes a 0? Reference count means two ways I'll define. Reference count means number of variables. Number of variables pointing to an object. Pointing to an object. Or number of variables storing address of an object. Number of variables pointing to an object, number of variables storing address of an object will give the reference count. Understand carefully. To understand all this, I am taking an example. There is an object 10 here. Can you see this is an object 10? How many variables are pointing to this? X is pointing to this.
3.
Y is pointing. Z is pointing. So what is reference count?
1.
Reference count means number of variables pointing to
Variables.
object. How many
I
variables?
think 3.
3. So reference count is 3. Understood what is reference count, everyone? Number of variables pointing to an object. How many variables? 3 variables, X, Y, and Z. Or how many variables are storing address of an object? X is storing this object address, Y also storing the same object address, Z also. How many variables storing this object address? 3. Understood what is reference count first? Yes. Now,
Can you say the second line? Number of variables
storing address of an object.
storing
See,
address of an
what
object.
X is storing? See, this address is stored by X. The same address stored by Y also. The same address will be taken by Z also. Means X is storing the same, this object address. See, generally, if you go back to this case 1, right? Yes. What X is storing? Don't say X is storing 10. Don't say X is storing 10. X stores the address. X stores the address. Whenever you say print X, it goes to this address. It goes to this address and prints as X is storing that address. It goes to this address and prints whatever present at that address. And understand carefully, X equal to 10 means don't say X is storing a 10. X stores the address. Whenever you say print X, it immediately goes to this X address and prints the content at 10. Understanding, right?
Yeah.
If you want to print the address, ID of X. If you want to print the content, print X. So here, coming back to this. I'll go back to this case 3. Yes. Now, how many variables are storing this address of this? How many variables are storing the address of this object 10? Yes, everyone. X is storing this address, Y is storing this object address, Z also storing. So what is the reference count?
3.
3. 3, right? Yes. Now, slowly what I do, as 3 variables are pointing to this object, reference count is 3. Slowly, I am modifying this Y value to 20. If I am modifying the Y value to 20, a new object to 20 is created. It is going to have its address. The address is given to Y. Now, Y is made to point to the new object. Y is pointed to the new object. Y is not pointing to this. Y is not pointing to this. What is the reference count now of this object
2.
10? 2.
2.
Only X and Z are pointing, right? Previously, 3 variables used to point, but Y is made to point to the new object. Now only X and Z only are pointing. Slowly, I am modifying the Z value also to 30. Means a new object 30 is created with some address. Yes, the address is given to Z. Now Z is made to point to the new object. Now Z is not pointing to this.
Yeah.
Now what is the reference counter?
Now it is 1.
1. Only X is pointing. Only X is pointing, right? Yes. Only X is pointing. Means reference count 1. Previously X, Y, Z used to point. Now Y and Z, they are pointing to the different objects. Now X is only pointing to this. Okay. Now slowly I modified the X value also to 50. Now X is pointing to new object 50. X is not pointing to this. Now what is the reference count?
0.
0. No variables are pointing to this object. It is unused object. It is unused. It is unreferred. It is not referred by any variable. No variable is using this address. No variable is storing its address. So it is unused by anyone. It is unreferred object. So whenever any object reference count becomes 0, immediately that object gets removed by the garbage collector from the memory automatically. Understood, everyone? What is reference count? What is garbage collector? It removes unused unreferred objects. How reference count becomes 0? When object gets removed, when reference count becomes 0. Understood all this? Hello? Is it clear to all?
Yes, yes, understood. But I have only one question. So if I want to recollect, resume the previous value. So is it possible? I mean, say the same. X is
So
10.
whenever
Y become 1.
whenever again you say X equal to 10, it may take the old address or new address. We cannot say. It might be storing in the same address or it may store in different address.
That is fine.
Address is nothing. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, my point, my simple question is, see, first case, let's say X is equal to 10, Y is equal to 10, Z is equal to 10. Now I changed Y value 10 to 20 and I got the new address, that is 1040. Now what I want, if I want to look at the my previous value of Y, that is 10, right? So
One second.
is it
X equal to 10, one object with some address.
correct?
1040. This address is taken by X. Y
Correct.
equal Y also 10, the same address taken. And you are
Yes.
saying Y equal to 20, a new object
20
created.
new object is created and that
Different
reference is getting changed. Okay.
This
Now
is not
if I want, correct.
again,
If
if
I
you change
want to
Y
look
equal
at,
to 10, if you one
no,
second, if again say modify this Y value to 10 again, it will take the same address. This
yeah,
reference will, yes.
the question is, if I want to look at my previous value, so now I changed to 20, but if I want to look at the previous value of Y, okay, I think I want to look at the previous value of Y means,
One thing,
the
one thing.
output, yeah.
1 second. You need to understand here. Y will point to only one object. Y will be storing only one object address. Y can store only one object address. Y
Correct.
can point to only one object. It cannot
Okay.
have two references. It cannot store two addresses. Which previous reference is destroyed. Now you cannot. If you
We
want,
cannot.
if you say Y equal to 10 again the same object address will be given. But if it is Y is 20, you will get this new address.
Okay, we cannot retrieve the previous value of Y, any variable.
Previous value, see 1 second. Okay, you are asking, you want to both Y equal to 10, Y equal to 20, both you want to print, right? So you want to get both. In this case, you
Yeah,
cannot, always it prints the latest value. For example,
latest value.
salary is there. Salary equal to 50,000, salary equal to 80,000. Your current salary is 80,000. Print salary always 80,000. But you are asking, is there any way
Previous,
to retrieve this value? Means Yes,
Yeah.
for calculating some tax or for calculating some for income tax for all this, I want your previous salary, right? So for
Yeah.
that, if you are giving sal and sal, you cannot. You need to say previous sal, current sal.
Latest. Yeah.
In this way, you need to give two different names. You need to give. So that previous sal means it is a previous salary, current CURR, current sal equal to this one. You need to give. If you give sal and sal, always this will be there. This will be destroyed. It will be removed from that memory totally. Here also y equal to 10, y equal 20, you should not give. X equal to 10, y equal 20, you give. If you say print x means 10, you will refer. 20 print y means it refers to 20. In this way, you need to give different names. If you're giving same names means previous one will be totally destroyed.
Okay. Fine. And if the reference count is 0, those objects will be called as a garbage collector, right? So
No. That object is not called garbage. Garbage collector removes that object. Garbage collector. Who removes this object? Garbage collector removes this
collector
object.
is the objects. Okay.
Garbage collector removes
Automatically.
unused, unreferred objects from the memory. When any object reference count becomes 0.
Okay. Mhm.
When it becomes 0 only, it will be removed. When otherwise, it won't remove.
Okay. So
Now coming. Okay,
now
coming back. Just 1 second. We can come back to your query. Coming back to this case 4, right? I was asking, right? X is 10, X is 20. What happens to the previous object to 10? Can I retrieve the value or not? That is what my query. For that, I was explaining these things. Now coming back to this case 4, forget about X equal to 20 for some time. X equal to 10 is there. One object created, one address. What is the reference count?
that's
One.
one.
Only one variable X is pointing. Now slowly I modified X value to 20. And now X is pointing to the new object to 20. Now X is not pointing to this. X is not pointing to this. What is the reference count now?
That
0.
is 0.
Whenever reference count becomes 0, then immediately garbage collector comes and removes this object from the memory. So garbage collector is a background program which runs in the background, which immediately removes an object when its reference count becomes 0.
Mhm.
Understood now? Now I was asking you a query. Always print experience, it is printing 20 only, right? Is there any possibility of printing 10 means no? That object totally got destroyed.
Okay. And again we reassign the same value x equal to 10. So it can allocate any memory location. It may not be the same address, right?
Yes.
1030. Okay.
If I say x equal to 30, what happens to 20?
Yeah, it will create the another object. Okay,
Okay,
and
another object 30, this 20 will be destroyed.
destroyed. That 104090,
Okay.
that
Yes.
memory location will be free, and we will get the new memory location.
Yes. Understood, right? All these 4 cases, everyone? Yes.
Yeah.
In case 1, right? Observe this case 1. Just we are printing some value. Printing the content, printing the address, printing the type. In case two different variables x and y with two different values, two different objects, two different addresses. In case 3, the values are 10, 10, 10. Only one object, only one address. In case 4, x and x, 10 and 20. The latest one will be existing, the previous one will be destroyed, right? So more on these data types I'll be discussing in the tomorrow's class, right? Yes, more on these data types. Tomorrow also you people can attend the session. Same time at 8 o'clock using the same link to see more on this. Yes. Any queries you got, anyone, right? You can see in the chart a big message is given that course content link, the demo means this Zoom demo link Python course content, Python full stack course content link, yesterday's recording video and last 2 days recorded videos, and that payment details, right? You can find. Okay. So tomorrow,
And what would be
tomorrow,
the course duration?
yes,
I
one
mean,
So once very fast go through the look of this course content. Sorry. So this is what Python basics, Python operations, operators, IDs, flow control, looping statements, strings, collections, lists, tuples, sets, dictionaries, functions in Python, modules in Python, packages, errors and exception, file handling, object-oriented programming concepts, regular expressions, database connectivity, Python data and time, operating system module, advanced concepts, iterator, generator, closures, decorators, working with different file formats, graphic programming, Excel workbook, data analytics, introduction to data science, pandas model in brief, NumPy model in brief, and matplotlib model in brief, right? And people who wants to go for full stack Python framework also, right? Like will be updated with the Django and Flask also. So frameworks, Django installation, Django project architecture, Django applications creations, Django views, Django templates, Django admin, Django models, advanced concepts, right? And UI technologies. You'll be given knowledge on this UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and MySQL, right? So just I was briefing you, right, about this. 1 second. Check this. Yes. Python core and advanced, right? Python core and Python advanced. Nearly 70 hours we'll be discussing in brief. It takes 2 months duration. 5,000 is the course fee. Apart from this, people who wants to go for entire Python full stack, correct? With the frameworks like Django will be covered, Flask will be covered, UI technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, REST APIs will be covered, database, MySQL, and a project. For this also, it takes 70 more hours, 2 months, 7,000 is the fee for this. But if you are taking the entire package, so 10,000 is the fees for this entire Python or what all we discussed. Python core advanced, Django framework, Flask framework, UI technologies, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, REST APIs, these things. So for the first initial 10 days, the class timing will be at 8 a.m. I said. Later, the timings of this batch will be at 7 a.m. after the first 10 days, right? Okay. Any other queries? And also saying, right? Yes, you'll be getting the recorded videos of each and every session. Tomorrow, you can attend the session, but from day after tomorrow, the link will be changing. The link will be changing, right? So you are supposed to get enrolled. Day after tomorrow, the link will change. You'll be getting a new link to your mail IDs if you got enrolled. From day after tomorrow, you'll be getting daily video to your Google Drive. You will be getting notes to your mail IDs, and you will be added to the WhatsApp group. Day after tomorrow, a WhatsApp group will be created. You'll be added. So assignments tasks will be provided, soft copy of the notes, resume preparations and interview questions, a WhatsApp group for technical discussions, 300 plus code examples, right, and interactive sessions, right? And also I deal with the big data, right? Big data analytics, data engineering, right? Right, Hadoop, PySpark, Linux, I'll be covering. In that, this Python 2 months course also will be covered. You can attend any of my Python batch. If you're taking the big data package, you can attend the same timing of 8 a.m., right? Yes, in that Hadoop, PySpark, and Linux will be covered. Yeah, the course fee is 15,000 for this. Hadoop, PySpark, and Linux, this is a weekend batch. Only on Saturdays, 2 hours, Sunday, 2 hours, totally 4 hours per week will be said, right? For nearly it goes for 12 weekends. Next Saturday on 25th and 26th, there are demos for this. You can attend this, right? Okay. And meanwhile, you'll be updating with Python parallelly. Python will be from Monday to Friday. This will be on only on Saturdays and Sundays, right? So any other queries, anyone? So if I'm done with the queries, if there are no other queries, I'll sign off for now. Meet you tomorrow, same time, using the same link. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, yes,
So
go ahead.
how much of problem solving, especially from hacker rank and lead code, will be covered in this course?
That's why I was saying, right? It's totally 140 hours course, right? For total Python. But only for Python also, I'm spending 70 hours. It's not like a 45 hours course, which we are spending 70 hours. People who go for certification programs for all those things and other things, right? Everything we'll be discussing many working examples where you can solve those things, right? In brief, in depth, we'll be discussing what happens internally, right? So only thing is you need to practice, you need to work with the assignments tasks to get command on this. So by the end of this course, you will be getting great command about all these topics, right? Whatever I discussed. Yes.
I have one question. So regarding the big data analytics, so the Python is a regular class. I mean 7 a.m. Or is there any other slot for the Python and to continue on this big data analytics?
So Python, you can once you got enrolled, right? You can attend any of my Python. So there is a batch at 7, and also there is a batch going to start at 6 a.m. in the morning. When it is on 27th of this
Evenings,
evenings,
evening times.
if you want, today at 10 p.m. it is a batch is going to start.
Okay.
10 p.m.
So
means
is
for the,
is that
for the first one
continue?
week, first
Mhm.
1 week it will be at 10 p.m. That later it will be at 9 p.m. Starts at 9 p.m. in the night.
Okay. And duration would be daily 1 hour,
1 hour,
right?
right? Yes. Yes.
1 hour.
People who
Okay.
wants to attend evening batch today at night 10 p.m. There is a batch starting. For the 1 week it will be at 10 p.m. Later it will be at 9 p.m. It starts at 9 p.m. Right?
And weekends, what would be the timings?
Weekends, Saturdays and Sundays evenings it will be at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., 7 p.m.
And duration would be 2 hours.
Yes. So evening 6 to 8 will be the class timing. Evening,
Okay.
Saturdays and Sundays, 6 to
Uh-huh.
8 IST timing it will be there, right? It is set
Okay.
where any people from US time zone, everybody can attend it. That's why it was kept in the evening, right? Yes.
Okay. And this big data analytics, you covered the Hadoop, right? So for that, do we need any prerequisites? I mean,
No, no,
so
no.
Python is fair
No,
enough.
no, no, no.
You. Uh-huh.
When Hadoop doesn't require anything, but Spark requires this Python, right? So when Hadoop is going parallelly, people will be updated with Python in the weekdays. First,
Correct. But
when Hadoop is going, but once your
Mhm.
Spark started, you need to have that when Spark architecture, when this everything is discussed, by the time when you go for the Spark particle thread, by the time 50% of your Python gets complete. That too, it's a
Oh,
weekend, right?
uh,
So first 1 month we'll be discussing on Hadoop, right? It's
correct.
totally
So Hadoop, I mean Hadoop also having some programs like
yes, yes,
MapReduce
yes.
programming and all the stuff. So is it okay in Python only, or it would be in
One
Java
second,
or
one
any?
second, one second. So MapReduce is what I can say is replaced with Spark.
Correct.
Previously MapReduce was used a lot in 2012, 13, 14, 15. But in 2016, 17, when this Spark was introduced, thereafter nobody using this MapReduce. But still, I'll be providing knowledge on this MapReduce. But MapReduce main drawback was huge codings, lot of coding, right? Using
Yes.
Java coding. Java coding was done. It requires Java knowledge for at least that one component MapReduce. But still I'll provide knowledge on this MapReduce. For that, at least MapReduce, you require Java knowledge, but anyhow, it is outdated component. Yes.
Okay, and even in interviews also, they going to touch upon MapReduce or only
They are
focus on?
not, when they'll be, for your project, what are the skills required, which are the components required, they will be asking queries. So MapReduce, they are not going to use that, they won't touch it. But you need to have the knowledge about that MapReduce. That's why I'll be giving knowledge on it, because the other components internally they'll be converted into MapReduce and they get executed, right? So, but you
Mhm.
won't write that much of coding. You won't write any Java coding there. But for example, Hive is there.
Yeah,
HQL statements similar to SQL.
correct.
So HQL
Yeah.
statements internally they gets converted. We don't need to write anything related to Java. That's why.
Okay.
The other components of Hadoop also internally MapReduce execution happens, but we won't write any code for that. Internally, that is going to get modified, right? Yes.
Okay. Scoop and everything. So
Yes.
HBase
Yes.
also, yeah,
HBase also is
internally
going
used.
to be. Yes.
Mhm.
HBase is a separate, it's a NoSQL, but it uses Hadoop storage only. It won't
Uses the
use
Hadoop storage and it's
it
kind
won't use
of
any
Cassandra.
it won't use any MapReduce anything. No MapReduce execution. That's HBase
Mhm.
is totally, it's a NoSQL database. It is. It is totally separate. It is not a part of Hadoop, but it only uses
Mm.
the Hadoop storage only,
Okay.
database. Okay. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. We'll continue tomorrow, same time at 8 o'clock using the same link, right? But the day after
Yeah.
tomorrow, the link will be changing, right? Yes, everyone.
Yeah.